Greetings, sir and sirettes, and welcome back to From the Depths with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome back to the sandbox mode, hopefully fairly briefly, before we get back into the campaign and fight the first boss of the Twin Guard. I am almost certain now there's at least 2 main bases to the Twin Guard, which the name certainly implies, and if we can down one of them and take over the resource zone, I will be incredibly happy. But before we do that, I think I need to make some changes to this flyer here, because I've been doing a few tests off camera, and I'm not happy with it anymore. I was happy, and now I'm not. The amount of vulnerabilities this craft has, I can just see it going down in almost every single battle, and costing us a fortune with all the damage it will take when it crashes into the floor. The main 2 problems is that because it's so spread out, almost all of the areas, especially the vulnerable areas, are just vulnerable. They have not enough armor around them to protect them against high explosive shots, armor penetrating shots. They are just way too easy to take out, and then the craft is left pretty much useless. The second thing is, which I didn't even think about until I thought, oh okay, I'll just do a quick test, is that this thing's EMP vulnerability is amazing. It just dies almost instantly to any EMP. So to test that out, let's fire some missiles at it. Now these missiles aren't particularly strong, but you'll see what I mean when they hit. Yep, that's the craft completely offline. AI is dead. Its ability to stay right up is dead, although it will now slowly fly to space because the rotor blade will no longer respond because there's nothing to respond to. And so it becomes a spacecraft. The thing is though, that can happen with a single missile. And the reason is the AI is placed right at the front, and it has almost no protection around it. There's no surge protectors, there's no wooden armor or even heavy armor around it to provide any protection, although of course wooden armor or surge protectors is much better in that regard. It's just really vulnerable, and that kind of goes for the armor penetrating shots as well. This is just how it was built originally. So what I think I'm going to do is remove some of this side armor here, remove some of the front so it goes back a little bit, and then maybe somewhere near the back here, because we have more space now we've moved to Steam, make a room purely for the AI and for the more vulnerable sections. In addition to that, we need to armor up the outside. The problem is though, we are now getting close to the maximum volume, and I don't want this thing to be too expensive. I can't really add all that much protection while still keeping the overall shape of the craft. I still want it to look like it did originally, but that may become a problem with some of these retrofits. Either way though, I'll be right back, and then we can test it out again. Hopefully, we'll stay aloft. The only other thing I can think of is a bit of redundancy. So 2 mainframes, both with the exact same settings, and perhaps even extra PID systems, so that we don't go into space. Now that happens because the rotor blade in the center is set to always up, so it will always try to move the craft upwards, but not really at any given direction. In any given direction. Just always up. So, the force is always... I can't explain things, but basically it always tries to get the craft into space. It doesn't matter the orientation of the craft. There we go. I did the words. And it's still probably wrong. On a side note, from here on in, the crackling in my audio, which has been plaguing me for the last few, well, weeks honestly, should be a lot less, because I've just swapped over to something else, which should alleviate a lot of the problem. Of course, the main problem is an actual broken microphone, which will be fixed hopefully by the weekend. But right now, the crackling should have stopped. Now, the surge protectors we already have clearly weren't enough. I think it's just because there's just not enough armor to pass through. There's loads of sections which aren't protected by the surge protectors. It's just a bit of a mess, honestly. So, yeah, I think a bit of removal here would be the better idea. Although I do like how it looks. Maybe I will just keep this how it looks, so nothing on the outside will change. I'll just change how the inside works. I'll put something else at the front, maybe the material storage or something like that. About 20 minutes later, we now have a separate section at the back for a redundant AI. It's exactly the same as the first, but it's redundant. We also have a load more surge protectors, some wooden armor, and hopefully a little bit better spaced section here. So it should be better now at surviving against EMP. In addition to this, I've added a few extra thrusters in the areas on the side. I'm still hoping I can maybe add an anti-missile system, though we are getting so close to our maximum volume now, it is actually a little bit silly. So, maybe I can do that, perhaps. I've also went ahead and I've upped the overall EMP damage from these missiles. They now have 1 additional warhead each. So if we can survive this, we should be able to survive anything from the Twin Guard, except for multiple units attacking at once. Okay, so pitch controls are still there, the backup mainframe is still there, so it's still completely capable of fighting. So what's happened here is that the only thing really vital, which was just destroyed, was the control blocks protecting the rotor blade. So now we have no power of our altitude, which is really annoying, but we're still combat ready. I'm going to try and fix that. Oh, and apparently it just got fixed by a single repair bot and me. So that's good at least. So that was actually very minimal damage. A lot later than I care to admit. Let's see if this works. If this works this time, I think it's about time we just go to the campaign. It should be able to hopefully resist 1 volley of these missiles. If it can, then all is good. Well, that destroyed some of the thrusters, so that explains the wobble, but, yep, there we go. The back mainframe is still completely untouched, and it's just slowly repairing itself. Can it survive another one? Because may as well. I really should start using EMP in the campaign. Just a thought. Still able to fight? We've lost the local weapon controller for the turret, but the missiles and the movement are completely fine. Note to self, check out the local weapon controller, see if we can protect that. But that will be for another day. Third volley. And... still going. Compared to the first test today, that is a massive improvement. I will say this has been an overall success. Still very scared about being knocked out of the sky by things destroying the blade, but I don't think I can do anything about that. With its current design, with its current shape, if I want to keep that, the blade will remain vulnerable. The only thing I can do is set up a PID to have a backup altitude setting. The problem with that is we've then just essentially made a hovercraft, which is very high up in the sky, and I don't want to do that again. Also fear the wrath of bouncing missiles. And just to annoy everyone before we get back in the campaign, yes, one of the blades is now smaller than the other 3. Look at it. It's asymmetrical. Amazingly, the new version is almost 4,000 materials cheaper. Well, I'm okay with that. And this is what it looks like just before the retrofitting completes. It's bouncy, at least. Here we are in the campaign, and here is the craft fully retrofitted. And it looks like its movement is absolutely fine, if a little bit off. Land AI does make some weird choices when it comes to fleet move, especially when it's trying to be an aircraft. Who would have thought that Land AI doesn't know how to fly the thing? Although in combat, it's absolutely fine. In fleet move, no. Now that's just unfortunate. Okay, we're moving ourselves away from all that terrain. Thank you very much. This attack was just sent against us. I think it could be the defending tile. I didn't quite check. lots of flyers and such, but it should be okay. I've went ahead and I've converted our missile craft into the EMP version we were just using in the test mode. So that should be a lot of fun to see how it works versus these enemies. Against the Rend, I think it's going to be really, really good. Okay, move over there, please. And Flyer, you can actually go more towards this side. The Mosquitoes, as much as possible, go over there. And you... Dust Devil, do I want you in this fight? Actually, no, purely because of the EMP missiles. We can convert them back to their regular selves almost instantly, since they are both separate saves. You can move over here. And this way we're testing out the Flyer and we're testing out EMP versus the Twin Guard. I'm really hoping the EMP is good versus the Twin Guard. Leaving a few forces out of this fight, otherwise we would massively outnumber them. So, for the sake of fun, and for the sake of me testing out the missiles and our Flyer, I think this is the best way to go about it. Guess who didn't set the altitude correctly on the Flyer? Well, hopefully it will be able to get high enough before it reaches these cliffs. Also, those are lasers. Also, I didn't even check what the enemy were using. I think that's a gladiator? No, the gladiator didn't have a laser, did it? That's interesting anyway. Yes, what are you? There's the Rend. No, you are... Okay, yep, you're definitely not the gladiator. You are the gladiator, I believe. Am I right? Am I? Yes, I am. Excellent. There we are, up in the air, and the anti-air missiles are not going for the aircraft. Yep, I think with the missiles I will be changing them so that they target aircraft specifically, which means they are going to use a laser designator rather than just the regular raid. What's it called? The detector it's using currently, whose name I cannot think of. Ow, me. I believe in you, Fly. Oh, AI dead on the enemy. I think that was because of the EMP. Let's check it out. Yep, EMP going everywhere on that poor gladiator. Just look at that. Yeah, the base is officially AI dead. That is wonderful. Our Flyer's being a bit bullied here, but it is fighting back. Still airborne, just fine. Oh, another enemy is now AI dead. Was it the missiles? Was it the cannon? I don't know. Really, really bad cameramanship, this battle, I have to admit. Both gladiators don't actually have a body now. Just the torso, which I guess is the body. They don't have legs. They don't have a base. Maybe I should have the melee vehicle. That way I can easily jump off. Oh, Flyer took an EMP shot, and it's going down. Let's see if it happens again. Anti-aircraft missiles actually going for an aircraft this time. Doing decently. And there's the EMP. Now, these things do have a lot of heavy armor, which will absorb some of that EMP damage. And the base is dead on this one as well. Probably could have captured that one, honestly, but I wasn't really paying attention. And, nope, just the base still. Everyone off. Should have really paused there. Yeah, that's never going to be captured. Oh, well. Learnt my lesson, bring the melee vehicle. Are you a Rend? You know what? Just kill it. But what are you? Both of the Rens. Okay, never mind. We'll capture one. I'll try at least. It is still surrounded by heavy armor, and EMP isn't the best for that. Let's make it so this is actually open. How about that? There we go. On the upside, this Flyer does actually try to get above the enemy, so it's actually going to be a good capturing vehicle if it survives, which it seemed to do just fine. Hello. You aren't the Rend. You are the Irritation. That's rather irritating. Well, I couldn't capture the Irritation, So let's see if this works out any better. Yes, it does. Now, the only reason why I didn't use the EMP on the first one, the irritation, was that I thought that perhaps the EMP would kill the enemy before destroying the mainframe, because the mainframe was protected by so much heavy armor and such, the heavy armor will be destroyed. My theory was clearly wrong. Clearly using the EMP on a down target is perfect, because that was the easiest capture I've had in a very long time. Still though, a really unsatisfying fight. The Rend, for now, I'm going to just scrap you and keep your blueprint, go back over there, and I will convert you in the future. For now, everything repair up, we are going against the main enemy. And maybe the EMP will allow us to capture that as well. Okay, so we haven't sent in too many units this time around, purely because I don't want to completely destroy the enemy. If possible, I want to try and capture it. And honestly, I have no idea what this is going to be like. Okay, well, the volume just increased by loads, and I assume that's because of the torso. Or the secondary vehicle, anyway. Okay, no, it's definitely a torso. Oh, look at these little guys. Why did the Twin Guard love their simple weapon so much? Not that I'm complaining, because these things look adorable. Oh, they've got little wheels. Now you... Oh my god, you. Those are EMP. Well, good time for us to improve our EMP then. We do have the melee vehicle this time, but I've set it to go after smaller targets. The idea was that the torso might be bigger, or whatever's floating might be bigger than the base. So I made sure that it'd go after the base, because the altitude thing can mess up a little bit. I didn't realise, though, it would have tiny little things like this. So the melee vehicle is probably going to spend its time trying to kill these guys. The same will likely be for the flyer. The flyer is set to not really like huge targets. Just look how many missiles are coming out of that, just for a second. Oh, nice Hesh shot there. Whoa! The back weapon just detonated. Bit of a miss there by the melee vehicle. Lots of EMP incoming. I kind of just want to see the melee vehicle kill one of those. Oh, we have lost the weapon on our flyer. It seems like it had a lot of focus on it. There we go, the melee vehicle kind of eating on the small targets. The flyer is going down, though. No, it's not. Never mind. The flyer is still up and running. Come on, EMP. Stop its weapons already. Yeah, this thing has a lot of EMP protection, doesn't it? Looks like its missile section has finally been turned off. But not before it took out one of our tanks. Will we be able to disable this before we kill it? That's the question. Oh, come on, turn off that last weapon already. There we go, goodbye. Oh, no, it's still online, it was just turning. Never mind, we celebrated a little bit quickly there. But here comes the melee vehicle. Hello. It's done eating your children, I will now eat you. Shredding away at the back there, although not most efficiently. I may jump onto the melee vehicle just in case we disable any of the AIs. I don't know how it's going to work if we disable the AI of the main vehicle, but the bottom's still holding it? I forget how that works. Still, though, this is looking, ow, really good, I was about to say. Before we got a Hesh shell in the face. You know what, Pharaoh tanks? I actually want you both to turn off right now. The enemy is no longer fighting us, which is great. But you are hitting me and the melee vehicle in the process. And I am currently stuck, because I forgot I did not redo this when I did some changes. How do I get out of here? By breaking it, of course. And now I'm stuck on a spin block. Well, this is... Oh, wow! I was going to say fantastic viewing, and it kind of is. Look at that! Now that is some serious damage. Wow. Oh, AI dead. Come on, vehicle. Get back in there. For some reason, I'm still stuck. There we go. Finally. Nope, nope, still stuck. Never mind. Never mind. It seems like we took too long. Today, we showcase the need for a capturing vehicle, or to at least remember when you've messed up the seating. Yeah, from now on, the chair is just gonna go right here. I don't care if it's exposed. Well, it was a rather brutal end to the vehicle, at least. There we go, now that will work 100% of the time. We're in this nice little safe zone here, surrounded by heavy armor. We won't be killed easily, and we are still close enough to the front that we will still capture enemies passively. But if there is the rare occasion, like a floating enemy like that, we can also jump out and easily access the enemy as well. So that's really good. This is now back to being a regular capturing vehicle. Do you ever feel like you're surrounded by things that just don't care about life? Because I feel like that right now. So let's have a quick look-see at the map then. I have no idea where the next enemy is, but by the looks of things, with this force being moved out here, I'm going to assume the next boss is in this section here. So I think we should just continue going west and then kind of go down like that. Or we could go back to the base and then up through here. That way we are more connected to the base, which would make a lot of things a lot easier. I didn't hiccup then at all. You're going mad. But with that, I'm afraid I am all out of time for today's video. If you have enjoyed, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that From the Depths is a series you wish to see continued in the future. Now that my back is getting a lot better and I'm actually sleeping, when this lovely sleep deprivation is gone, hopefully I will be able to play the game a little bit better and not make some really stupid mistakes. I am not happy at all with how I played today, but still, we were victorious, we have gained more ground, and now the enemy are down to only one major base, which I'm hoping is over there. Also, we've proved that EMP is very good against the Twin Guard, so I will be using that more in the future as well. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.